I slept with 100 men in one day, the official documentary. We had strong opinions when we initially watched Philip DeFranco cover the story. Some of you recommended we watched it just to understand her perspective in a full context, not just clips. And since the story went around in a viral sense and also a very, I think, like sex negative sense, we want to make sure that we're not also falling into that trap. So let's have the conversation now that we're seeing the documentary and see if we come away with anything different. My initial views, in case you missed it, were that basically it's impossible to have a healthy relationship with the industry when you're forcing yourself to do something that's outside of the range of health. And I don't know that it's ever healthy to take 100 men in a day, and 100 any partners in a day, depending on how you count those bodies. So it's one thing to be in the middle of an orgy, which some of us, can do with 100 people in the room and not technically touch 100 people. From my understanding of the title, she invited into her physical space 100 different bodies. I'm not sure you could argue that ever being healthy. It would be maybe an experiment that pushed the artist over the edge. But in this context, it's less an artist and more of a person who I think is having some sort of twisted relationship with her industry. But let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. And, I'd like to be. I hope that she is joyful in what she's doing. I just don't see the indication of that.
I'm Lily Phillips, and today I'm getting ran through by 100 guys.
I do think even the start of that is like the sensationalism is what's selling, and joy isn't sensationalized. If you're really joyful, you do not have to sensationalize it. You don't have to fake it on TikTok. You don't have to edit it down so you perfectly ASMR whisper while you're making homemade sunscreen for your husband. Ooh, I'm going to get copyrighted for this. We love using songs like the stream. And growing up, I would romanticize the adult industry, romanticize Playboy. I subscribed to Playboy magazines. I romanticize the freedom of sexual liberty. And I really think the best form of sexual liberty is a deconstructed one. When you deconstruct the patriarchy, you don't end up in Playboy. When you deconstruct the industry, I don't think you end up in studios unless they're highly vetted and they're highly conscientious. And so this little collage we're seeing right now is exactly the problem with the industry. It's ran through the patriarchy.
A few moments later.
And we're used to people like Kim Kardashian and all these people using sensationalism to sell. And what's more sensationalized than having a tape? What's more sensationalized than taking 100 bodies? And these people are not joyful. These people are chasing a dollar bill. And who's to blame them? Under capitalism, not me certainly, but also it's not what I recommend.
Is it a shoes off house, a shoes on house?
No, shoes on. Honestly, I've got a dog. Like, it's a total mess. Do you want a glass of water?
I would love a glass of water.
I mean,
Could I have a tea? As a word, like, is that the right terminology? I'm a YouTuber, so I'm a bit red-faced and new to this world. But what is the
People call me anything. Star, escort, OnlyFans girl, anything really. I don't really care. It's not a bother to me. I don't drink tea.
Yeah, oh, really?
No, so this is probably going to taste like shit because I don't really know how to make it, but just good for one thing, me, honestly.
Having been involved in the world of YouTube content creation for 10 years, I've witnessed some extreme measures taken in order to achieve online fame.
Ooh, okay, that's true. We have seen it. We watched it. We're all 2 steps ahead of it. Is she wrong morally for doing this? No, I don't think it's wrong to seek fame. Is it good for her? Probably not. Was it good for any of these people? Probably not.
As well as taking some extreme measures of my own, but none quite as extreme as the stunt I came across which inspired this documentary. Lily Phillips, a 23-year-old OnlyFans star living in London who described herself as an English was planning on hosting an event where she would sleep with 100 of her fans in a single day.
Ooh, 100 of her fans in a single day. It's good branding. It's sensational. It's interesting. Kwame, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Happy holidays to you as well. Thank you so much.
How did you get into doing this for a career?
Well, I started when I was at university. Very, very tame stuff. Hand bras, underwear, things like that. Because I was at university and I was like, I'm being a anyway, could make a little bit of money.
What do you mean by you were being a anyway?
That was just being at university. I was just sleeping around with everyone.
But I feel like I know of a lot of girls who have done that at university but then haven't gone on to become OnlyFans stars.
Yeah.
Exactly. Chat says even the way she talks about herself feels negative even though she's acting as if she's positive. Exactly. And that is even I fell into this trap. When I was leaving conservatism and I was deconstructing, I also fell into the trap of thinking this was liberty. This is why I warn against it, because once you find out what real liberty feels like, it is nothing like this. But this is the first step. This is truly what they sell you as the first step. But this is liberty through capitalism and patriarchy. True liberation, I think in that really, really beautiful way, cannot exist because of a reaction So you can't be a reactionary. You can't do it because of money. You can't do it because you're sticking it to the man. You can't do it because you're seeking validation. True liberation comes from the relationship within, the relationship you're having with your own body and your own expression. And so I've been at this place, like I said, I was buying Playboy. I was romanticizing Hugh Hefner. I was romanticizing liberty being something like brazen or something like crude almost. And then I realized like, oh, that's not liberty. So this is not surprising. I don't even need to come down on her. The world doesn't even understand her. All those people criticizing her, they're not interested in liberation either. They just want to shame her. So I don't want to shame her. I just want to let her know when she's done with this, there's actual liberation heading, her way if she's open to it, right? Discord said, is there a way to be in the industry while being deconstructed, or every facet of the industry sort of unhealthy? Every facet of the adult industry is currently corrupt. The only chance you have of interacting with the community is by specifically shooting with companies that are progressive. Some of them are female run. Some of them are gender inclusive. If you're in the actual industry, your greatest chance of success, of deconstructed success, is with people who have also done that, and that's at the forefront of their mind. But that's just not what's happening. So it's not an industry I would ever recommend anybody get into in that traditional sense. Now, she's doing it on OF, and I think OF is a tool just like YouTube. Just because you're on YouTube doesn't mean you have to be Logan Paul or Mr. Beast. We know this, right? I know this. I'm literally doing it. So same with OF. Just because you're on OF doesn't mean you have to be this girl. You can be something totally different. You'll make less money, but you'll be at peace. And you won't have to cry about it. I don't cry about my jobs. I never cry. I'm never sad about my jobs. And I think that's the point. I go to bed every day happy, to wake up every day happy. Truly happy.
I mean, I just was like already very, not proud, like very just okay with doing that. Like I've just always had quite a nature.
Yeah.
I just thought I might just make like a couple hundred.
I think this is something also, and I don't mean to compare it to her, but for myself, I have no problem being free with my friends, with lovers, with my BDSM life. But anytime money was involved, I never liked it because it felt like I don't want to do this for money. I don't want to have sex with you for money. I want to do this because I want to. And for me, that's very important. I never wanted to change. I never wanted to turn my intimacy into a job. Some people do. That's so valid. In-person work is very valid. I'm not in any way shaming it, but I knew I wouldn't feel gratified doing it. And I think that's what you have to ask yourself. Are you in the category of person that feels good doing it? You should do it. If you're not, then you should have that conversation with yourself. I never felt comfortable with it. I don't think I ever will. And I think even the stuff I do on OF, though it is very 18 plus and it is what it is, it's all about how I want to create it. I don't take requests. I don't do customs. I'm not interested in what my audience wants to see, except in a general sense. Like, I don't sit here and think, oh my gosh, what if everybody leaves my OF? If everyone leaves my OF, I'm still posting. For Brittany's brain, I have to want to do it for free before I can ask people for money for it. Because I almost never want to be put in a position where I'm doing something that intimate at all, whether it's me working at a job or anything else where I feel dehumanized. Even if I worked in grocery when I did, I never allowed, if my bosses made me feel dehumanized, I was like, I don't like this. I will quit, bro. I need to know that I feel good in my skin. And that maybe that's an autistic thing. Maybe it's a moral thing. Maybe it's just how my brain works. I have such a specific relationship with myself and I really need my joy to maintain, my health to maintain. It's never going to be worth money to sacrifice it. And for a lot of people, it is worth the money, right? It's a queer thing too. Hey, I think so too. I mean, the premise of queerness and queer liberation, I think comes from that deconstruction. I think I'm heavily influenced by queer communities. I think you're right.
£100 can get a few rounds of drinks in, stuff like that just helps me out a little bit while I'm at university.
Sure.
I didn't think it would turn into like my whole career. But I think as soon as I started on the platform, I kind of realized, I guess, how much money you can make and also just how much I loved it. I was just like, why am I doing a whole degree? Last week I was like 23 guys all at once, and like some people would be like, you're insane, like I would have to be paid to do that, and I'm like, no, that's just fun to me.
Interesting.
Would you call yourself a businesswoman?
I don't know about that. People would give me a bit of stick if I said I was a businesswoman, but
Isn't she though? What about her isn't a businesswoman? She's running a business, isn't she?
I guess definitely business minded.
I would call you a businesswoman.
Thanks.
Isn't she making money? Isn't she making money? See, she doesn't even know who she is. She doesn't even know who she is. Isn't she doing this for OF or is she doing this for fun?
How does that make you feel?
Oh, I've never really cared what people think. It doesn't really bother me. I have such a supportive like family and friends, and what they think about me is so much more important than what strangers think about me.
True.
Come on in. Hi.
Hey, I'm Josh.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So tall, isn't it?
Is your PA?
Yes, yeah.
So how many people are there in Team Lily?
8, 9?
There's 9.
I don't know. Yeah, quite a.
I think I'm 9 now.
Yeah, 9 now. Yeah.
9 payrolled members of staff.
Wow, she payrolls 9 people and she's not sure she's a business? Girl. Chet says, I thought she was doing it for the Guinness Book World of Records. Yes, but isn't she also filming it for OF? You have to pay tax on that. If you make any money on OF, you're working. And if she has people on payroll, 9 people, she's working. She's a businesswoman. That's what being a businesswoman is.
Yeah.
You are a businesswoman.
Yes, you are.
I've seen you say on podcasts and things before that your family and your parents are proud of you and what you've achieved.
Well, my parents knew straight from the start, like, about what I was doing. Yeah, I was just very open with it. Obviously, at the start, they were a bit apprehensive because they want me to be safe and
Yeah.
they want me to make good decisions and stuff like that. I just think I can't hold myself back and do something that I'm scared what other people might think.
I agree with her on this. I do think she shouldn't hold herself back. If she might be able to convince me by the end of this documentary that she seems to know what she's doing, but I would argue that she's just young and doesn't know who she is yet. So what this really is her figuring out who she is. And that's fine. You're allowed to regret things in your life. You're allowed to not regret things. I don't know if she'll regret this. She is allowed to figure out who she is. And I love that. I don't think it's wrong for her to experiment, for her to do anything. Like, that's fine. I just want her to do it because she really wants to, but she's young. So we're watching a person figure themselves out. And I think that's kind of the point. My concern for her is that it's not safe. And the same concern I would feel for a young guy going into the military. Like, okay, let's figure this out if we can do this in a safe way, because it's not safe to join the military. There's a lot of downside, even if the marketing says otherwise.
Your parents must be very sort of forward-thinking and open-minded, which is great, because I think if I told my parents that I was the UK's biggest cum, they probably they wouldn't like that. You show me the set.
No, of course, the set where the magic happens.
What's this?
I was trying to train my dog how to use it to like get it so she needs.
Oh, so that's not for.
No, it's not for like sexual purposes. Don't you worry. Are you into any of that like kinky stuff?
Not massively. No judgment. But like I haven't done much kinky stuff.
No, I usually just like get my little camera, pop it on there. I mean, it's usually quite easy. And then it depends if we're doing like we usually talk through if we want to do like a storyline.
Yeah.
Or just more of like a gonzo video.
What's a gonzo video?
Just normal, like just the actual part. I'd rather do it like this where I pop it up, or like have my assistant film it for me, because then you can usually get a bit better angles if like someone else is moving it.
And that's not like awkward, like having her film it or anything?
No, not at all. This is like
It gets very normal. Like, you're used to it. It becomes like, it can be awkward, but it can just be normal too.
it's toy drawer.
Okay.
I'll get some out for you. You'll be shocked as to what goes up my ass.
I'm afraid that's just a cone.
It's a hefty thing. Go up either hole.
No, it can't.
After showing me her eclectic collection, Lily invited me to join her for a stroll on the King's Road to find an outfit to wear for her upcoming big day of sleeping with 100 men.
What would be the demographic of guy that would recognize you normally?
I'd say more of a, it's gonna sound mean, but more like a chavvy, younger guy. And not ones that you'd find in Chelsea, I don't think.
Right. You're going to have 100 guys. Do you ever think about what it would be like if you ran into one of them in the streets after that had happened?
When I
Chet says, I don't think any of her story is real. There's ex OnlyFans creators who are big, who came out and said they made up pretty much anything to go viral. Yeah, that's the norm. So she's in the Logan Paul category of YouTube, right? Whatever it takes to go viral, right? And so like her family being approving and supportive, I don't know if that's true. Like, I don't know if that's true, right? Because if you're in the category of willing to go viral at any cost, you're willing to make up narratives. So I don't know if it's better for her brand, for the narrative to be that my parents are supportive, or if it's worse. So I don't know. That's why I just watch this as like a bubble experience to say, if this isn't who you want to be in the story, don't be. But like, for the record, plenty of us are well-adjusted, do adult content, and we're not trying to go viral at any cost. We're just enjoying the creation of the product. And of course, people consuming it and liking it, of course. And of course, the money, right? But this isn't my bubble. Like, none of my friends who do adult content are anything like this. We're not trying to go viral. They're trying to just have a good career in the industry they're in.
did 37 guys in a day, I genuinely can't remember any of their faces.
Right.
Or maybe if I saw their then like I recognise them. But
Yeah.
if I don't find someone attractive, I struggle to like look at them while I'm having sex with them.
But you don't struggle to have sex with them?
No. Before I had sex, I was never much of a... I actually wanted to wait till marriage at one point. I just used to think it was a real special thing. As soon as I actually didn't have sex, I kind of realised that it wasn't special. And also that I just really loved it and really enjoyed it and that I wanted to do it way more often.
And do you think your partner one day will be someone from the industry most likely, or?
Yeah, I talk about this a lot with my parents because that's the one thing I guess they worry about is like, will you ever find a boyfriend?
Yeah.
But there's so many guys out in the world. I think, you know, one poor bastard's got to marry me. I rather think it's going to be someone from...
Hold on, chat said, well, that's sad. I don't know what you're referencing, but if you're referencing her saying sex isn't special, I do agree with that idea. Like, sex itself as a functionality is not special. It is literally a biological experience you're having with another person. It's not inherently special. I don't believe it's inherently special. I've had pretty unspecial sex in my life. It's just, but I've also had really special sex in my life, and that was great too. But I don't think is inherently special. I think it's a mode of being. Like if you think of it as what it literally is, it's pretty unspecial. It's the person you're doing it with that makes it special. And if you don't have a special someone, then you're just having, you know, it's like, it's nice or it's whatever. But I don't think it's actually inherently special. I just don't have that lived experience. For some people, it might be different. I mean, everyone is having a different biological experience. So you might be somebody who like for you is like very special. And so like you wait to have sex or something. It's whatever. It's like people who think like touching yourself should be reserved for your spouse because like it's so special. You don't want to masturbate without a partner. It's like, I don't have that relationship.
Are these men going to be appreciating the time, effort and dedication that has gone into this? It's not actually, but I'm filming a video with a girl who's going to be sleeping with 100 guys in one day, and she is picking out her outfit for that day.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah.
Does she find them on the internet?
Yes, so you can apply if you're a subscriber of her OnlyFans, so up to 100 people, and then the whole 100 of them get to have so they're one at a time on the 19th of October in London.
Oh, and it's on television?
It's going to be on her OnlyFans.
Oh, I see. Okay. She's got to have an early night the night before.
Yes, she does. A lot of electrolytes, a lot of sustenance, a lot of fiber.
Okay, lovely.
Okay. Have a great night. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Oh, these old ladies are everything, bro.
Bye there. She seemed kind of okay with that, which I wasn't expecting. So far, is this a normal day in the life of Lily Phillips?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I'm going to go home now, do
Yeah.
some content and stuff like that. I'll show you how I go about just filming day to day.
How much does it cost for the video calls?
How much are they? Like 100 per minute?
Per minute?
300 for 5 minutes, and then
She
500
knows.
for 10 minutes.
Wow.
I think a taxi driver would know what fake taxi was.
Oh,
I mean, look, in some way, to be honest with you, if you're going to be an adult content creator, just like a YouTuber, and it's not like your heart and soul, it's something you want to make money doing, you might as well go the sensational route. Unless you're doing like an educational route or something. I'm not opposed to people going the sensational route. I mean, everything is so sensationalized, but if you don't do it in your joy, I don't think you'll ever be joyful. And I'm not sure anyone could ever sensationalize their life and be joyful about it. But again, this is a bubble where people are. It's not my favorite. I don't think it's the healthiest, but it is who somebody is in the story. And that's interesting. Like, remember that Logan Paul did just go to the Japanese, unaliving forest and live stream it. He went home and edited the video and edited the thumbnail and edited the shots and then uploaded it to YouTube and then made it public. And then, do you know what I'm saying? Like 10 or 12 steps had to occur for Logan Paul to post that video. And in none of those steps did he stop himself and say, I shouldn't do this. And that's the kind of person that he is. And that's the kind of person that she is in some respect, where she and her crew is like, how do we make the most money possible off of what we're doing? And I can't blame them for that in a world where it feels like everything is so far away from us. And people have convinced us it's so easy to get if we just sell our souls. Sure. I'm not sure that the sensational bubble ever isn't unhealthy, though. And I think that's something that's important to pay attention to.
Lily agreed to show me the business side of her operation. OnlyFans might be what she enjoys, but it also provides a hefty paycheck.
I'll show you my first month. $13,338.
And can you give us like any indication as to what a more recent month might look like?
I'll just show you. I don't really want to say if that's okay.
I think it's more money than you might be imagining. And you made me pay for the cat. So you say you're going to do some work today. Like, how are you going to decide what to film this afternoon?
I usually am going to prioritize my customs.
Like they've paid for like a customized request?
Yeah, customized request that maybe I say their name in it or something that they're really into that I don't have already. Sin, what you're up to. Sometimes it's just general conversation. Like sometimes guys just want to talk.
Have you like...
Yeah, good point. Chad says Mia Khalifa, don't know anything about her, but so many men hate her. For no reason. I will say the reason I think it's important that we cover this content and we talk about it is because like I'm not anti the industry. Well, I'm not anti adult work. I'm anti the industry itself, right? But I think I'm not anti work in general. Like this is a job, pay your tax, call it a day. But I will say, like, I don't care about men's opinions when it comes to this subject or this girl, because most of them want to hate her for simply having a job they perceive as easy when they would never do it themselves. So just a reminder, none of this is easy. That's what this video should be teaching you, is this job is not easy and it is not simple, and you have to do a lot to get here. And most people don't even want to do it. So every time you try to glorify how easy it is to either be a content creator or an adult worker, then you do it. If it's so easy, you do it. And then you can keep your mouth shut because it's not that easy. And that's the problem. I feel like this is an opportunity for people to realize that the money might feel like it's easy to get, like, oh, 300 for 5 minutes, that's crazy. But think about what she's doing in order to get it. Same thing with these guys who do like underwater welding. It might be good money, but think about what they have to do to get it. Think about that.
Recognized any of the names in here of people that you might know?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's been some guys like outwardly say like we used to go to school together.
Wow.
Or some like dad's friends and stuff like that.
What, messaging you?
Yeah. I just try to keep it very professional.
Your version of keeping it professional is sort of the opposite of everyone else's version of keeping it professional? Yeah. Have you ever received any scary message on here, that like something that frightened you or made you feel unsafe?
Some people's requests are sometimes way too much. Like I had literally last week, like, can you put a bag over your head and pretend to be like suffocated? It depends obviously on the request, but stuff like that I probably won't do. I don't want to encourage it. Like that for me, I don't think that's doing helping
What if someone
society.
offered you $1 million to do it?
I probably would bend my morals for that, yeah.
Yeah, me too. You've got spreadsheets. This is incredible. I can't believe you tried to tell me you weren't a businesswoman at one point.
Yeah, I know.
Spreadsheet.
You see that? Like she's so in the business, but then I don't know if that's part of the branding too. Maybe part of the branding is that I'm not a businesswoman. Oh, maybe that is the brand. Maybe that's the businesswoman. Maybe that's the businesswoman in her. Ooh, that's good reverse psychology right there, bro. I'm not a businesswoman. I'm just a normal little girl. Give me your money. You know what I mean? Like maybe she's just like, oh, I'm just a girl at a cafe waiting for my man. And then the truth is she's just like a reverse psychology.
This guy's paid for a bottle of spit in a 6-minute video.
You did what, sorry?
I paid for like a bottle of spit, like just me like spitting into a bottle.
And is he going to receive that? Or?
Yeah, I'll send it in the post.
Lily invited us to observe the creation of a custom one of her subscribers had paid $300 for.
So the guy's asked for a cuff instruction and he wants it kind of a style, so a little bit more.
Yeah, I think there is, like, if I had made the decision to go full into adult work as my full-time job, I would have probably taken requests and done a lot of things. I would have done a lot. I would have been different than this. I decided to make YouTube my full-time living. OnlyFans is like a part-time job, which is fun, but it's a very creative outlet. It's very different. It's like for me to like shut off my brain and have a lot of fun and like create things that I think are pretty. But I think there is some thrill in creating things, and it's so much easier to know what to make when you do have a request. So sometimes I can imagine, and I've experimented. Like I used to take customs before to see if I would like it. I tried cam for a little while to see if I would like it. I always try different things. I tried being a different kind of YouTuber at some point. I even experimented at the beginning of this year with video essays, right? Like I'm willing to try anything to see what I might like, right? What might be like valuable to me as a person. I think when you find your niche though, it's much nicer. It's just easier. But I can see being this type of content creator in a sense, like taking requests, fulfilling orders, like Amaranth or any of these other girls. It's quite simple, I think. It's like quite simple, which is nice. But yeah, Amaranth made like $100,000 selling fart jars. I don't think fart jars are cute, so I'd never do it. But, you know, $100,000, good for her, I guess. In this economy.
Like me telling him what to do. And he's asked for me to wear a black bikini and some high heels. So I'm sure we've got one in here somewhere. I mean, this one's extremely skimpy, so I'm sure he'll like that.
Okay, well good luck.
Thank you.
All the best.
You ready to be my pathetic little loser for the next 3 minutes? I want to take it and eat it. Well done, thanks for being my loser. Bye.
That was very interesting.
It's kind of fun. You're kind of like playing an acting role.
Yeah.
In a sense.
What Lily had shown us so far was
It is acting. It is 100% acting. Yeah. It takes and the better you are, like truly, like being good at being an adult content creator is a skill. It's a skill. And that's why it's so hard. And that's why some of the best in the industry do make so much money, because like you are selling a fantasy, right? That's your job.
was fairly in keeping with most creators on OnlyFans. However, what she was planning to do in a couple of weeks' time had never been seen before.
This is where the applications are coming through.
Where the guys have messaged him.
I had it switched off for a little bit, so it's just...
So how are you doing this? You put out a phone number
Yeah.
and people can just apply?
Yeah, so I put out a little Twitter post, and all you do is have to send in a photo of you holding your ID. So this guy's from Belgium, he is 32. Oh, he's from Barbados, Jesus. We're going global.
Is this just going to be completely random as to how you pick them?
Yeah.
I feel like you probably have to be pretty extroverted in a sense to do this. Like chat says, I don't have enough social battery. Me neither. I don't have enough social battery for this. But, you know, like I think I would have been a very successful like sexter. I'm pretty good at it. You know what I'm saying? But like, I don't have the social battery. Like I don't have the social battery. And this job is very social.
Our best eye checks. Yeah, I guess the only thing I'm nervous for is like for them to have a good time. I want to make sure they enjoy themselves and don't come away from it like, oh, I feel disgusted or that wasn't fun. 2006.
Oh my God,
So
how
what's
does that make him? So 18?
18, yeah. I mean, he does like 18, doesn't he? Hey there, I know I'm late, but would love to you and lose my virginity.
He actually said loose my virginity to get his spelling fixed.
I think other people in the industry definitely look down on me for doing this, but I think at the end of the day, people forget that it's also my fantasy. And this is also something that I'm really enjoying and want to do and have wanted to do before I was even in the industry.
Our filming was interrupted briefly by a phone call from Lily's mother. Apparently, she calls Lily every day.
Oh, here we go.
What have you been up to today? I'm just getting railed. What are you? No, they're just sort of checking in on me.
You've obviously spoken to your parents about this, right?
I actually haven't. My parents know what I do, but I'm not on the phone to them every day going, oh, you know, I just got DP'd, I'm 17 guys today.
Yeah, that makes
or this
sense.
And that. They don't need to know the logistics.
Of course.
I do feel a little bit like embarrassed being like, Mom and Dad, I'm 100 guys.
Why?
I guess because it's not really what my parents would have wanted me to do. Doesn't mean to say my parents are like going to disown me or hate me or anything like that. I just don't want them to think less of me, you know? Like we can still be like very close and stuff like that, but I just don't think they need to know like exactly every single detail.
Yeah. But they'll find out, right?
Yeah, probably, yeah. This is the thing, I think, with like my like career and stuff like that, we're not sat here talking about, oh, I filmed this with today, or, you know, I filmed this, because there's just no need. I remember my dad saying...
Yeah, obviously, I don't call my parents every day and tell them how YouTube's going in every detail. Like, there's no reason. It's just work. Do you call everybody in your life and tell them every detail of how your workday is going? You know what I mean? Like, nobody got time for that, girl. It's just, like, so weird. And I don't. Like, if my parents find out I've been doing something on YouTube, like, okay, like, I'm at work. You know what I mean? I don't inform everybody in my life of everything we cover on stream or what I talk about. No, that makes sense. It's just a job. If you treat it like just a job, then it just doesn't matter. Like, you would treat it like anyone else, right? I think so far, I like her a lot in this documentary, and I like the way that he's handling it. And so far, it seems like a pretty strategic and it feels really strategic and intentional. And so far, I'm not mad at how she's doing it, but I'm concerned with the way that it's been clipped. So let's see. Right now, it's fine. But again, I'm trying to be open-minded because we did judge it based off of the Philip DeFranco show clips. And now we're watching the full thing in context, so it's not so bad.
They know, but like there's just no point in being like, oh, you know, I'm doing this or doing that.
Yeah. Are there days where you second guess it ever?
Not particularly. There are days where I'm sat here on a Sunday, I am feeling a little bit more lonely. My friends have all got boyfriends. And I'm like, you know, I see a comment and people are like, God, no one's ever going to marry you or something like that. And that can definitely like make me feel a little bit like, oh God, have I chose the wrong career? But like, I just totally love my job. But just like people talking about your body constantly, how you look. Every day someone like picking at you. I think that's the hard part. And also just the pure fact that people think so much less of you. Yeah. Before anyone ever meets you, they already perceive you to be something. I think now I'd find it hard to make friends in terms of like real friends that really just see me for who I am and not like, gosh, like porn star online, whatever.
You know what this could be? This just could be a case of a young person trying to get famous the quickest way possible. So she's coming up with a way to go viral at the expense of possibly herself, but she doesn't know it yet. She doesn't have the wisdom. She doesn't have the wisdom. And why would she? She's in her early 20s. So, you know, I feel for her even more. I don't think the industry is bad in this sense. I mean, I think the traditional industry is bad. I don't think OF is bad. I don't think being a content creator is bad. I don't think setting goals is bad. I don't think trying to break records is bad. I just think you should do it in a way that is wise. And so right now we're watching a person learn life lessons. But I want to make it clear for all the negative people out there, the lesson she's supposed to learn is not that she's not supposed to do this. It's that she should do this safely and within her joy. Okay? That's what I think is the point.
This kind of like persona.
Yeah.
Also just like all of social media, like everyone is preying on your downfall. Banks don't allow you to bank with them. Your Instagram's trying to get shut down. Like, you know, it's just like the little things that just like, no one likes what you do. And everyone just thinks less of you, basically.
I see that you've kind of like taken on the word like and almost owned it in a way.
Yeah, 100%. I don't mind being called. I'm sleeping with 100 guys in a day. That is the definition of a sexuality.
Would you refer to yourself as a feminist?
Yeah. At the end of the day, doesn't feminist mean like you just want equal rights for boys and girls? And yeah,
true.
I do what I want and I do it because I enjoy it. I think there are obviously some women that maybe go into it because they have to or need the money and stuff like that, or they're kind of coached into it by men. But my personal experience is I've only ever felt empowered by the fact that I'm making money off something that I think guys will do anyway. Like guys are always going to sexualize me, so I may as well try and profit off that bit.
Okay, very capitalistic of her, meeting the market's demands, but this is where you do it at the expense of yourself, which I don't want her to do. I don't want her at the expense of herself think, well, men are going to do it anyways. I might as well reap the benefits. That's fine. That is some of the top content creators in this industry. That's exactly their thinking. And they do milk everybody for every penny and they move on. That's Andrew Tate's thinking. That's everyone's thinking is like, they want it anyways. We might as well milk them for money. But think about that idea. Think about what kind of a person says to themselves, I'm going to milk you for every penny since you're already doing something horrible to me. That's a vengeful person. That's a negative feeling person. Okay. I don't want you to live your life in negative feelings. I don't want you to be a reactionary. I don't want you to be that person. So that's why I have a problem with it. It's the reason, her why, I don't think it's a joyful reason. I think it's a really young and unwise reason. But hey, it is what it is.
I mean, not all guys are going to sexualize you.
I don't really know. I'm not, maybe not all guys, but much. I mean, I'm like a part of the problem. It's so hard because like doing extreme stuff like this is not normal. Like, and I think then guys are probably going to expect girls to maybe be as strong as me and sleep with this many.
Oh, that's very self-aware of her. Ooh, that's very self-aware of her. Okay.
Guys and take it up or do stuff like that isn't real life sex. It's kind of hard to wrap my head around.
But you do enjoy doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think people forget it is my fantasy and this is what I enjoy. And so it's hard because you're like being selfish, but you're also not helping the situation.
I left Lily's house with more questions than answers. I still couldn't understand why she felt the need to do what she was doing and whether it was truly what she wanted to be doing. I thought it might be helpful to hear the perspective of another OnlyFans creator, so I reached out to Alex Letitia, also known as the Queen
interesting. Marco, welcome to Memberships.
of Southampton.
So now this is something I've wanted to know all day. Do I call you Alex or do I call you the Queen of Southampton?
Oh, either. No, you call me Alex. Basically, I went into OnlyFans because we were really, really broke. It was really last resort. I had never, ever sent anyone a nude prior to this ever in my.
Okay, already totally different origin stories. The first girl, the girl we're watching the documentary about, did not go into OF because she was broke. She went into it because she thought it would be fun. So, or that she could get famous. Okay, different. This girl went into OnlyFans because she was really, really broke. Very different origin stories. Therefore, very different relationships with the work, right?
My life. So I was so naive going into it. I started off just doing bikini pictures and lingerie, but it is a slippery slope and the demand is more. Before you know it, you're having sex on camera.
And is that something you regret?
There's a lot I regret on there.
Do you feel scared that you might ever have to start doing things you don't want to do in order to keep that money coming in?
It is scary, yeah, because people are starting to do the most outrageous things online. I've seen so much of it lately, and I think my daughter's already getting stick for what I do. And like I said, I don't really do anything controversial compared to all these other girls. And it just keeps being like leveled up and up and up of the expectations.
Well,
okay. I wish he had interviewed somebody who likes their job and is in the industry and having a good relationship with it, because that's like a much different story being told than a girl who regrets it. And plus, they're in just different categories of the industry, so they're going to have different relationships with it as well. But if your job is predicated on what other people are doing in the industry, then you got to be, you're limiting yourself, because sensationalism is also part of the industry. That's how Amaranth and all these girls kind of rose to fame, right? So I don't know. I don't like to compare these two. I think they're very different categories of the industry. So let's observe them that way, because I think comparing them doesn't make any sense. Would we categorize? I don't categorize this girl as a survival worker. Needing a job because you're going hungry isn't survival work. It's just work. That's what you have to do. Survival work, in my opinion, is when you have no social credit to do absolutely anything else in life. Doing work because you need to eat is not what I qualify as survival work. That's called a job. That's what everyone does. Everybody gets a job so they can eat. That's what everyone does. So like survival work to me has got to be you have no social credit or ability to literally do anything else because of your positioning in life, which is why it's rare. I don't consider her a survival worker. You're telling me she couldn't get a job walking dogs or doing anything else? She had to do work? Like, that doesn't make any sense. What survival work includes trafficking because your social credit is removed. Survival work isn't trafficking to me. Trafficking is like kidnapping. Like trafficking to me is like kidnapping. You've been kidnapped. Yeah, being trafficked is also separate from survival work. Like being kidnapped and forced into slavery is very different than being at your wit's end for possibility of jobs because no one will hire you and you have to turn to work. It's the only job you can get, literally. Is different from we need to eat, so we need a job, whether it's picking up poop or walking dogs or working at McDonald's. Like, that's very different. So all of these things are very specific, right?
On Saturday, I'm going to another OnlyFans creator. Lily Phillips is planning to sleep with 100 men in a single day for OnlyFans content. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's really sad. I just worry about her mental health. I'm hoping it's a hoax and it's not going to actually happen. I don't know. From what I've seen of her, I think she's like young and beautiful. I don't think she has to sleep with 100 guys in one day for attention. I don't know. It's like medically, is she going to be in a lot of pain? Mentally, you're going to be known as the girl that shot 100 guys in one day. And I think that's really sad.
Oh, wait. That's not the problem. I don't care if she's known as the girl who had, see? Negative sex worker. I don't think there's anything wrong with with sleeping with 100 guys in a day, because as a stigma, because sleeping with 100 guys in a day could literally mean they thrust inside of me so you could do, okay guys, focus. There's nothing wrong with sleeping with 100 guys in a day if you literally mean sleeping with guys meaning into for 2.5 seconds. It's the issue is everything surrounding it. I don't think any less of Lily for sleeping with 100 people in a day, right? Like who cares if she's known as the girl who slept with 100 guys? Who does that matter? That's not the problem. The problem is everything else around that. So now I don't trust this woman's opinion because she thinks that matters. Why does that matter? Who cares? You know what I mean? That's the problem I have when people review things like this. The worry should be, are you going into this with a mind, body, and soul in an adjusted, like in a safe space, in a safe way? Is it what you want to do? And Are you ready for the aftermath? Like, you could go into something very, very optimistically and it goes badly. We could all do that in our life. We will do that in our life. You get therapy. But the issue for me isn't the stigma around sleeping with 100 people. Chet says, can you really trust 100 men not to breach consent or go too far? Well, that's why you're supposed to have a lot of safety measures in place. So that's the problem, right? I don't care that she wants to sleep with a lot of people. I care about the safety around it, not the reputation stuff. You're a sex worker, your reputation is what it is. It doesn't matter. This girl is trying to paint herself as like less of a sex worker because she doesn't do what other girls do. Too late, girl. You're on OnlyFans, your reputation is tarnished. And it's only tarnished because you continue to allow it to be. Who cares if somebody's on OnlyFans? If being on OnlyFans tarnishes your reputation to people, them. You know what I mean?
The problem is that when you sign up to objectifying yourself, it's like you're signing a deal with the devil. Like, no one is going to see.
She hates it. She just hates her job. She hates her job. And so she hates Lily Phillips and probably her success, if I'm being honest. I don't hate Lily Phillips' success. I want her to be successful. I just want her to do it in a way where it's structured and she learns, she does it safely. Maybe this is her opportunity to do it. I wouldn't recommend sleeping with 100 people in a day. Sounds a little reckless, but maybe you can do it in a way that makes sense. But I don't know what that looks like. I'm not saying she shouldn't do it. I'm saying I probably wouldn't do it because I can't think of a way to make it safe. But I appreciate Lily's desire to like push boundaries. I think we're just watching her learn a life lesson. Because I want to make sure that it's clear from my end, I am not anti-Lily Phillips and her being a sex worker. I have no problem with her being a sex worker. I just want her to do it very safely.
You as a human being. It gets to the point where everyone objectifies you. That's the reality of it. You're like the cash cow.
Well, if you hang out with those people. Yeah, if you hang out with a group of people who always think that of you, those are sex negative people and I don't want to talk to them. I do not keep people in my life that when they hang around with sex workers, they work on objectifying them. And I call people out. I say, I don't like the way you're talking about that girl. Even if it's a guy who's dating a sex worker, if I hear a guy say like, yo, isn't my girl the hottest? Her sells so good on OnlyFans. I'd be like, hey, I don't want you talking about your girlfriend like that. Just because he's dating you doesn't mean he's sex positive. Just because he's dating you doesn't mean he's not objectifying you.
I think the kind of thing Lily's doing this weekend is the future of OnlyFans.
I hope it isn't, but we keep seeing so many sort of outrageous stunts. Maybe people.
Wait, Chat says, but it does say something about her type of choices and interests, right? I don't want to hate, but in real life, I wouldn't want to have anything to do with her. I don't trust her decision making or work. I don't think that has to do with the work, in my opinion. It has to do with her wanting to go viral. Like, if you don't want to hang out with Logan Paul because he goes viral and scams people, that's different than saying, I don't want to hang out with Logan Paul. He's a YouTuber.
People assume they have to do that in order to get attention and followers. So it is just going to have to get more outrageous, which is quite scary if you think about it.
No, it doesn't have to get more outrageous. There will always be more extreme. And it never has to be the thing you do. If you think as a creator you have to go more extreme to stay relevant, you're stupid. No offense. Like, you don't understand your own industry. Plenty of people maintain a very normal industry level content creation relationship between them and their audience where they don't have to go more extreme. You do not have to go more extreme. That is just not true. It is not true, and don't let people tell you that. That's like saying, oh, if one teacher is exceptional and writes a book while they're teaching, now every teacher is going to have to write a book while they teach. No, that's not true. Oh, well, Nara Smith makes YouTube videos and dresses in Versace when she makes videos, so now every mom's going to have to do it. No, not true. Not true.
Oh, I'm just worried about the smell for you.
The smell?
Yeah, I feel like the smell will be bad.
Thank you so much, Alex.
Bye.
The whole thing, I think I'm realizing, is actually more mental than we originally thought. There are 100 men turning up to have sex with her for 5 minutes each in a single day. I mean, there's a decent chance that one of them is going to be dangerous. One of them might have a weapon, have a criminal record. A few of them will have STIs, just on a basic
Yeah, she has to have a system to get them vetted and stuff like that.
statistic. You can know that a few of them are going to have STIs.
Chat says, do you think this lady could be jealous of Lily's rise to fame and money? Absolutely. And she's probably jealous that Lily's more conventionally attractive. She's probably, pretty privilege is a thing. And this woman's more, her aesthetic is very specific. And so if you're into it, you're into it. She's successful on her own. But ultimately, like, nothing beats a classic blonde girl who looks innocent and virginal. Like, nothing beats the girl who looks like Lily. They just do very well in the market because it's a generalized fantasy. Just a much larger niche and market. You know what they say? Blondes have more fun.
STIs. So let's just hope those condoms are good ones.
I had a sinking feeling that perhaps Lily hadn't fully thought through the challenge she was undertaking.
How are we looking? We're 1 week away.
I think we've got about 50% of them confirmed.
And then you're checking that they've done an STI test?
Yeah, so prioritising guys who have STI tests. They have to screenshot the results kind of thing. But this is the thing with it, like you can never 100% know if they've had an STI test. And even if they had, they could have slept with 10 girls in between the test and things like that. It's more just like, you know what you're getting involved in if you're willing to participate.
Are you going to kiss any of the guys?
Definitely. I feel like some of them would be a bit put off, especially when they know I've just had like 57 guys inside me or whatever.
Why do you think that would put them off?
I think it's more if someone's to my face. I can imagine that's what's put another guy off.
So you would let like these guys do that on your face?
Yeah.
And in your mouth?
Yeah.
What if they had HIV?
Is that where it comes from? Was spunk in the mouth?
It can.
Oh, really? See, I've never really thought about that. Last time when I did it, all of them could in their mouths. I can't really.
Yeah, so this is the stuff that is worrisome. Now we hit the point where, okay, girly, so there's nobody on her 9-person team. There's nobody in her life. Or maybe there is. Maybe everybody's warned her and she wants to do it anyways. This is where, as a friend and as a coworker, I wouldn't continue participating in this experiment. I'd say unless we do this safely, we can't do this. Like, until we do this safely, I can't put my name to this. That's where it gets crazy. Now, what if this is also part of the branding? I don't know. See, the problem when you play a role is you never know if you're talking to the person while they're in their role or if you're talking to the person that actually is them. And so I don't know with Lily, am I watching her role, like her character tell me this? Is her character stupid about STIs or is her actual personhood? And I think that's the dilemma. I think people have a reason to be worried, right? I have a reason to be worried if this is for real Lily and this is actually what she thinks and this is her education level and she's taking this risk. Now I'm concerned, right? Now I'm concerned. But at the same time, I don't know if this is Lily or if this is the character. I don't know if this is part of the rage bait. I don't know if this is her desire to go viral. I don't know. But I will say, if this is real, if we're taking it at face value, this is where I would say I cannot help you participate in this because I want you to do this, but in a safe way. So if my friend came to me and said, okay, Brittany, I want to safely sleep with 100 men in a day. How do I do this? First of all, 100 men is a lot, but the first place I would go to is a BDSM dungeon. I would go to a sex-positive dungeon with sex-positive people who are genuinely vetted by the community. I would find long-term community members who are vetted. But see, she didn't do that. She did from my fan base. Her branding is you can sleep with me from my fan base. So this isn't about just making a record happen. This is about from my fan base. This is about making her fans feel closer to her and accessible to her. So that changes things. That's why it's kind of different. And a lot of people do this, right? So again, I think my concern is why are we doing this? And also, did she have to do 100 guys? I guess it sounds better than 50 guys. There's a lot of things at play here. I wouldn't do it. It feels unsafe. I don't think Lily's a bad person. And I think shaming her is adding to the problem. I don't appreciate that other worker's input. I think she was shaming Lily in a way that was unnecessary. But I would say that Lily is being very irresponsible, but also open. She's being very open with all these men. So she and the men are now at risk for getting an STI, and they are consenting to that risk, which most people do on dating apps. Most people are absolutely willing to risk an STI. That's why most people have some form of STI. So again, unless you're very, very cautious, unless you're constantly using condoms, unless you're always on your meds, unless you're always getting tested, most people are willing to risk it. Most people think, not going to happen to me. And even if it does, who cares? To be honest, she's probably fitting into a very perfect niche for her. My recommendation is for people that are virginal to go to experienced and recently tested and safe sex workers if you're looking to lose your virginity to one, instead of starting off your you're popping of your virginity with an STI. That says if you use condoms, can you still get an STI? There is still a risk of STI occurring with a condom because of tearing, slipping, you're touching the condom. The condoms are preventative. like a dental dam is preventative, but it's never going to guarantee because human beings are sloppy. Things drip. You have to take off the condom. Like there, every STI prevention we take still holds risk. Birth control still holds risk. I can still get pregnant on my birth control. It's just very rare. So everything is about minimizing the risk, not ever truly getting rid of it. And I think we have to be aware of that. There are always safer ways to do things. As a older person who's had a lot of young people come to her for advice, a lot of old people come to her for advice, you would be shocked at how many people are not willing to get tested, aren't interested in getting tested, and don't think about using condoms. You know how many men I've talked to? And I'm like, is your girl on birth control? And they're like, I don't know. I trust her. She'll do it if it's necessary. I'm like, Chad says, why aren't the men concerned? Exactly. They're not. So these men are consenting. Lily is consenting. Now we have to accept that there's a part of the population that is going to consent to risking STIs.
I kind of love like ruffling feathers a little bit and people getting a bit like agitated by maybe the fact that I'm a people think I'm like so sad and stuff like that, but that could not be like further from the truth. I don't think people realize like how happy this makes me. But I just think it's so funny and fun. I can't really put it into words.
Have you done anything to make sure there's not someone with a criminal record, for example, coming down?
We actually have not, no.
Do you feel safe?
Yeah. I mean, pretty sure I could take on some 50-year-old guy. No, I think it'll be fine. I'd like to think that guys on there, so I don't know what they would do anyway.
The chances of a guy committing a crime in front of all those men can go up if like 10 of the guys got together to show up. But this is where I would hire security or something to watch and make sure it's not going to happen. Or I would have 100 hand-picked people. That's the difference. Is like I can't tell how much vetting is happening, but that's kind of the problem, right? It's like, hello.
And like you've put out a public call, so technically anyone could come down as long as they were over the age of 18.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Actually, a theme I've been seeing on streams, which I actually really appreciate, is when 18-year-olds show up on the boy streams. I don't know if you guys have seen these clips, but it'll be like a boy stream. Like, like a typical boy, like a boy who gets game. Okay, not like a boy who debates. Anyways, this is a joke because they do get game. Anyways, okay, like a boy, a boy who's like a boy. And girls will show up on the stream. They're like, oh, pretty girl showed up. And they're like, how old are you? And the girls will be like, I'm 18. 18? Get out of here. Like, they don't even risk it anymore. Because they're like, nah. I don't know if you're 18, bro. Like, they wait till the girls are like 21. Because they're like, I'm not risking it with no new 18-year-old who might not be 18. Because that's, a level of safety that I think people should pay attention to. Even though 18 is legal, get those 18-year-olds out of here, bro. I don't give if you say you're 18, get out of here. And I think that's a good shift in culture. I think it's a good shift for all of us to practice. So the fact that she's willing to take the risk with a person who's 18, girl.
I'd like to think someone won't go to that effort to put in their ID, drive there, It's quite a big process for someone just to, I don't know.
I feel like she makes enough money. She should hire a security team to be there with safe words.
Do something like that, maybe. I'm not really sure.
I had a sinking feeling that perhaps Lily hadn't fully thought through the challenge she was undertaking, but maybe I was wrong and everything was under control. After all, Lily and her team seemed very relaxed about her mission. So relaxed that she squeezed in another job the night before, in Newcastle.
Oh.
Hi, I'm going to be at Vinkers at Newcastle Racecourse this Friday, the 18th of October. I'm super excited. Apparently there's meant to be over 6,000 university students. It's the biggest uni event in Newcastle, so I can't wait.
It is the night before Lily's big day. These girls don't seem very prepared. They're currently on their way to Newcastle, and then they're going to be coming back late tonight, and then Lily's going to sleep with 100 guys tomorrow morning, which seems mental to me. It doesn't seem like things are going great. There are a lot of guys cancelling. They're scrambling now to find people at the last minute. I don't understand how the guys they're scrambling to find at the last minute are going to get STI checks in time. I feel a bit nervous going to this random Airbnb tomorrow for Lily to pull off the stunts. I can't actually imagine how Lily must be feeling.
Interesting, yeah.
It's Lily's big day. It's raining. I've never woken up so early to film sex. I've never filmed sex, but you know what I mean.
No, No, the guys aren't traditional performers. They're not performers. They're fans. But I don't know if they're getting paid. I don't know how it works. I don't think they are performers. Like, I think he called them that. But they were fans, right? What do you think made them cancel? I think they chickened out. I think people chicken out. Like, that's what it is. It's stressful. This is an event that most people would I would not trust 100 people to show up. 100 people, they would have to be very serious about the job. They would have to be performers, like actual workers. No way 100 fans going to show up. Of course people were going to cancel.
It's 8:35. They were meant to be here at 8 a.m.
Wait. Discord said there was only a week turnaround for this. Wait, didn't the documentary start with 30 days on the time clock? Because I'm trying to think, how long did she set this up? Because this should have taken 6 months to create. 6 months to a year. Probably 6 months would have been fine. 30 days since they started filming. Okay, so it was a 30-day at least, but she must have started before. It feels like maybe it was a quick, maybe because it wasn't very thought through or planned. She could have worked with a studio. There was so many ways they could have done this so professionally. She planned it out for a month, but did call out for a week before. There's no way then. How would they respond in a week? Nah, see, okay, so if somebody came to me and say, Brittany, I want to do this, how do I do this? I would say hook up with a production company you really, really respect, somebody progressive and positive, somebody who has a camera shoot, somebody who already has a studio, somebody who already has lights, somebody who will take a cut of the proceeds you make, but will bring in the right safety measures. I would say I would probably do it that way. Hire a company that does this for a living and knows how to make this happen and who knows how to make sure the performers show up. But the sensationalism of it is that my fans are going to f me. My fans. I don't know. People probably think it's more thrilling for it to be fans than performers because that's also part of the brand. Because girl, if Belle Delphine did this, no way 100 guys cancel. I guarantee you if Belle Delphine did this, those 100 guys would have showed up because she is someone. Now, I looked up her social media. She doesn't have a big following. She has, as of right now, 600,000 people on Instagram. So that's definitely something. This is her Instagram. Okay, fire Instagram. Let's go. See, this Instagram, great to transfer it over to OF, right? Like great Instagram to transfer it over to OF. Is that it? Is that her whole fame? When did she get those viewers? Was it before or after the documentary? I think the difference is that Belle and Amaranth went viral first and didn't do something like this, but she went viral for doing this. That's the difference. Yeah. Okay. Chat says, I think Amaranth and Belle feel more real for some reason, even though they're a character. I think their characters are a manifestation of their realness because they also are real in interviews. Belle gets out of character for interviews. Amaranth gets out of character for interviews. Lily, I don't know the difference between Lily, the content creator, and Lily in interviews. I don't know that we know it. So I can't tell if this is Lily in character or if this is Lily outside of character. But with Amaranth and Belle, I can know the difference because they literally talk about it. Belle Delphine talks about it, right? Like they have like a real personal story between the character they created. They created a character. Lily is saying it's not a character, it's her. And that's why we don't get it because I don't believe you. But also Belle and Amaranth go, yeah, it's a character. I play a character. I mean, it's me, but I play a character. All of us, you know what I'm saying? Lily is saying, oh no, it's me. I love it. I'm just, and this is just what I love. It doesn't sound like what a real person says. If she said, oh, it's kind of like a character I create, but I love playing the character and it's really fun to be her for a night, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because most workers I know also make a character.
Just as we were starting to think the Queen of Southampton was right, and this was all a hoax, the first man arrived.
Hey, guys, I'm here for the thing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a bit early.
I'm Josh, by the way.
Oh,
hey, nice to meet you.
I never really think about things before I do them, so I've just kind of do them and then think, oh, was that okay? But yeah.
We received a text from Lily's team asking us to not draw attention to the rented Airbnb where the stunt was set to take place.
She's asked us to not be around the property so we don't draw attention to it.
So I asked lucky participant number 1 if he wanted to go for a stroll while we waited for Team Lily to arrive.
So you're obviously a subscriber of Lily's on OnlyFans?
I'm going to be honest with you, it was only when she said.
So you got a text, but they sent the address quite late, didn't they?
Yeah, just this morning. Funny, on the text it was like, if you have any friends who'd like to take part, and I was like, oh, it's one of my motivations for coming here.
Yeah.
Like, is it gonna happen,
yes.
I might give it a month. It's on the Circle line.
Yeah.
I go to the NA after.
Finally, Lily arrived.
Hello. Lovely to meet you. Lucky number 1.
An hour behind schedule with a security guard on the door, we were allowed
Security guard at the door.
inside.
Nice to meet you.
Hello, how you doing? Fair enough.
Everyone get naked now. Let's get going.
It's a lovely house. I like that big mirror.
Exactly. Chat says this dude is the kind of person I wouldn't want to deal with because he just said he doesn't think first. Exactly. You're going to get a lot of guys who spontaneously wanted to be there. And I'm like, ooh.
No one, including Lily's team of assistants, seemed to have much of a plan in place for the day.
I don't know what's going on. No, there's a lot of forms this time. The admin side of things is crazy.
Having had their IDs checked and release forms signed in order to allow publication on OnlyFans, 6 men sat anxiously on a sofa, waiting for their turn to have sex with Lily.
The energy in that room must have been wild. Yo.
Meanwhile, it seemed the reality of what Lily was undertaking was starting to become slightly more real.
Hello.
Hello, how are you feeling?
Nervous. No, excited. It's nice to actually meet the boys because it makes you put you at ease a bit.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm nervous. Is it?
You're not getting.
How are you feeling?
No, I'm a little bit nervous.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Just putting a baby monitor in here so I can keep an
Oh,
eye
that's
on
smart.
you.
Yeah. Have you had like an energy drink?
Yeah, I had a squash pastry in the car.
Okay.
So,
And
we feel good.
lunch or anything? What do you think?
I think I'm gonna have a break. I think it gets to about 12 and have a little
Okay.
Febreze.
Yeah, that's good. Are the guys gonna shower? Or
No.
just come straight out?
Febreze. I hate the smell of Febreze. It just smells. You know what I hate about Febreze and air fresheners? It just screams I'm trying to cover up something. I do love a candle though, because I would do a candle. Febreze feels like you bring out the Febreze when you want to cover up a smell. So I associate like fresheners with that. That's why I never use them. But a candle says, let's be cozy and have in front of the fireplace.
And the condoms?
Yeah, they're in my bag. I've
Okay,
bought
condoms?
200 of them.
Yeah, that's good, just in case because it might break.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like, do we think we're gonna get to 100 today?
Yeah, I'm not leaving without it.
I flew from Switzerland?
I came to last night after work.
Oh, guys, we are running behind.
I got in at 6 o'clock this morning.
I'm excited just to get the first one in.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you just like want it to start. It's like doing a race, like you just want it to start.
It's early in the morning to be honest.
Yeah, it is.
And 5 minutes each, right?
5 minutes each. Probably might do a little bit less time.
That's a long time. 5 minutes? 5 minutes is a long time. Yo, why did my camera shift like that, bro? 5 minutes is a very long time. Like, I know we make jokes about 5 minutes not being a long time. 5 minutes is a very long time. That's a good point. Is she going to require these guys to shower first? Oh, I recommend taking a shower beforehand. It's just such a nice feeling. I love being super clean. I love hygiene. I love being super clean and super like edible. You know what I'm saying? Oh man. This is, you know what this is? It's amateur hour. We're watching an amateur try to be a pro. Man, there really is a difference between the pros and the amateurs, isn't there?
I don't want to keep them waiting too long.
Fine. Yeah. Just all the best.
Thank you. Kill it.
Yeah, careful. Kill it. Lots of fluids.
Thank you.
I think I'm not filming the guys.
Yeah, that's it.
I know. Chat says she's going to go for 1,000. I hope she doesn't go for 1,000, bro. That's crazy.
Thank you.
Just as proceedings were about to commence, we were asked to leave. It was hard not to feel concerned for Lily as we left the house. She seemed more apprehensive about what she was doing than she had done over the past few weeks. Perhaps the reality of the situation was beginning to dawn on her. It certainly was for me.
It was just weird. Like, that's all I can describe it as. It's just so weird. Like,
True. Chat says, I hate the way my brain is becoming analytical trying to plan this event out. No, I'm same. I feel like we could have planned it out better. I feel like we could have come up with such a good way to do this. Do you think it's because have you guys gone to conventions? When I go to a convention, I'm like, I could have done this better, but not because I could have. But when I go places, I'm always thinking like, could I have done this better? I love planning things that will never come true. I love planning events I will never throw. Like, this is what I would do, and this is how I would organize it. And sometimes I even go online and start putting together like a Pinterest board of all the ways I would do a party that I never end up doing just for fun. And I'm just like, listen, we're going to have these flowers and these things. And I'm not even much of a decorator. Okay. I like the fantasy. And I feel like that's what she needed. She needed an art kid to come in and make this an art project. She should have hired someone from the the power of this autistic chat. Literally. Oh my God. We could have created the best event. We could have done this so good. I feel like we really could have, like, she needed just like a bunch of art students to come in and help her. Man.
Lily seemed
a bit more nervous than she's seemed throughout this, but still like kind of up for it. I just cannot believe in the middle of this like super affluent suburb, this girl is about to just have a load of strangers, 100 strangers.
Okay, that's like the least like interesting part. I mean, as we know from Diddy parties, having sex with 100 people in a night is not that weird. It's not good though. It's not good for you. Actually, in comparison, one of the reasons why Diddy's victims were so fucked up is because he would drug them so they wouldn't know how much pain they were in. And they would go all weekend and they couldn't tell how damaged they were. That's why it's scary, because you are just a physical force. Your body has limitations. And so it might be fun to talk about 100 guys in a night, like, oh, what a thrill. But you're still just a person and you have limitations, guys. I think the most interesting thing of this documentary is just how we could have all planned this better.
One of the men participating agreed to speak with us after having spent his allotted 5 minutes with Lily. He had flown in from Switzerland just for this.
So I came last night and I'm leaving basically after. I went for the authentic experience.
Okay.
I had pie.
Pie, British pie, pie and mash.
Yeah.
How long have you known or been a fan of Lily Phillips?
Since the beginning, I would say.
Did you ever think you'd be able to have sex with her?
No, never.
And today you did?
Yes.
Were you nervous this morning going in there?
Yes, especially when I saw all the guys that queued.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was definitely nervous.
Were you worried that maybe some of the other guys aren't going to get an STI check? Or?
A little bit, but also I think the risk for the guys is maybe less high than for her.
Why do they think that? I mean, I could see technically why they think that, but why do they really think that? Technically, it's true. If you have a, you're more likely, you have a higher probability than if you have a. But why do they think that? Do they know they're having sex with all of those men too? Do you know what I'm saying? Do they think Lily is, because they're having sex with her, do they understand they are having sex with all of those men as well? How clean is she going to be between partners? Don't they know that they're getting those boys' liquids on them if she's not like thoroughly cleaning after every single partner?
Originally, we had been told we'd be allowed back to film with Lily while she had a break for lunch at 2 p.m. However, we received a text from her PA explaining that they were overrunning and they were going to have to skip lunch. Sorry, it's Chocker, and anytime she gets a break...
I can't believe they even had lunch. I can't believe they even had time to eat.
A quick shower and eat, and then back to working, so no time to be filming during her breaks. However, we were able to speak to another man as he left the Airbnb, although he seemed shaken by the experience. How are you feeling?
Whoa, he is shaking, bro.
Saw something that I'd normally do, but I saw it, nothing much wrong.
Yeah.
I think I saw it and I just thought, fucking might as well just do it.
Yeah, like how long did you get with that?
She said 5 minutes, and then halfway through she said she had started pulling me, so she said like 5 minutes from now. Which is all right.
So you got to like...
It was literally time.
Do you know how many guys have gone before you?
No idea.
Yeah, like, is that what...
I don't really know. You know, I just thought...
Are you happy you did it?
A little bit. I'm just a bit nervous and everything will find out. My dad would kick me out straight away.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my dad would kick me out straight away. So some of these people were definitely like the thrill of it. I wonder how many people risk things. I wonder. Discord brought it up. Good point. Discord said all those men better be single or have consenting partners. Yeah, I wonder who the demographic of these people are. You know.
Hey, sorry, we've got so many people here right now. It's absolute mayhem. I've had like 100 cigarettes. I'm chain smoking through this.
Ugh, the smell in that room must be horrible.
I feel like this is going to go on a lot later than we planned. We planned it to end at like 7, but I think it's going to run until like 9, 10 p.m. maybe.
And I want to say something. I'm not sure that is true, but sometimes you can have situations like this and everyone comes out traumatized and like no one's really at fault for it. There's nothing you can do about it. Everyone just signed up for something they didn't understand. It doesn't seem like anyone's maliciously getting involved. I mean, obviously, I don't know how many of the guys actually like went too far. I don't know anything about that. But as of right now in the documentary, the way we're perceiving it, it almost feels like the guys didn't know what they were signing up for. She didn't know what she was signing up for. I don't really think there's like a villain so far in the story. To me, it just feels like a bunch of young people who are like, this would be a cool experience, like without thinking any of it through. So far.
27 p.m. about, I think about 70 people through.
Oh, almost there.
After hours of waiting, we tried to get back into the Airbnb. We ended up being delayed by one of her assistant's boyfriends, a close-up magician who had been performing for men in the waiting room.
No, that is cool as shit.
Lily's PA gave us some more updates and promised us that they were nearly finished.
How far off is she from finishing?
Not far off at all. We're nearly done. We've got a few people who have like gone home and then they've called us and like, can my friend come? I just told him how sick it was. And we're like, yeah, bring it. Like, send your friend over. But no, it's been great for like networking. Like even like husbands being like, oh yeah, I do this for a living, saying the job. Oh, we need someone that does that. And we're like, yeah, message us back tomorrow. It's been fun. I've really enjoyed it. But I was like, I should not be an event planner. I actually can't believe we were going to do this without security. They've been
so helpful.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. They had security. That's really great. That's really great.
Absolutely amazing. Like, I could kiss them both. They've been so good.
It's definitely the busy time of the night. That door is turning into more of a revolving door. There are guys coming in and out of there constantly. They've sent out security guards and things to go get her snacks and electrolytes and just to keep...
No offense to anyone, but right off the bat, I heard this. I thought these guys must have a cuck fetish. Well, not to be pedantic, but none of this is cucking. Or something, maybe they didn't even think about it that much. For sure, they obviously didn't think about it that much, but like nothing about this is cucking, right? This would be more or less a thrill kink, an opportunity that presents itself to tell the boys, oh yeah, I slept with a girl once on OnlyFans. Somebody who's like, she's hot, I want to lose my virginity. Somebody who's fantasized about her and wants the opportunity. But like this doesn't feel like cucking. This feels more like dream, like a dream is being fulfilled, right? I wonder what kind of demographic watches her and who would have shown up for this event. I assume kind of a lot of single kind of, yeah. Most of these guys were there because of YOLO, unironically. Yeah, I feel like it's a YOLO crowd, like FOMO. Like they don't want to miss out. You only live once. Let's do this. I feel like that's probably the vibe more, right? Because cucking is so specific. It's such a specific kink. You know, it's such a specific thing. Now, there could be a married guy who's just like, I'm cheating on my wife. That's a fantasy. You know, that's the fantasy. But I think the fantasy here is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. I think that's the fantasy. Like if Pam Anderson was like, that's a different example because she's so famous. But if Pam Anderson was like, sleep with Pam Anderson, like, you know, for a fact, the 100 guys would show up to that because it's Pam Anderson. That could be how she sold it. But see, how famous was she before she did this? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. Ooh, question. If a guy you were dating was one of these guys, would that be a deal breaker? Would you be mad at him for sleeping with a sex worker? Because that's really what you'd be mad at, I think. Is there anything about these guys doing this that would be a red flag? Maybe 5 years after, like maybe not in the moment. Because I think it'd be a red flag. I might be, let me think. Yeah, one of these guys, one of these specific guys, yes. In general, no. Yeah, I don't care if my partner, like if I dated somebody or married somebody who had been with a worker, that would have been fine. But I might get the ick if it's a guy or girl who signed up for this particular situation, maybe. But why? Is that true? Do I actually feel that way, or am I just saying it? I think it's the lack of safety measures that I find unattractive. I think that's what I find unattractive, is the lack of safety measures or the consideration, maybe. I don't know. It's just not my bubble. I think that's also a part of it, is like, it's just not my bubble. I don't understand any of this. And also it was within a week. They made the decision within a week. So then it feels irresponsible. Like you didn't think about it enough. Yeah, maybe if it's that, you know, yeah, maybe it feels irresponsible. And that's what I don't find attractive. Yeah. You guys seem to agree. Like it's a safety issue mostly. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Did they complete?
We're done.
Oh, yeah.
Lily's just in the shower now.
As the sort of brains behind this and managing the whole thing, how did you think it went?
Oh.
Planning wise.
Oh, is she the brain? Is this the girl who like came up with this whole thing?
Hectic.
For sure.
I didn't know what to expect. So many guys left it really last minute and we were getting messages today like, can I still do it?
Yeah.
But we had so many people drop out.
Yeah.
So when I was like going through like, yes, can you make it to London today? And a lot of them were like, yeah, that's fine.
You're so amateur, like you did not know what to expect. What a risk to take. But hey, this is why we say you work with professionals, you work with people with experience, because when you're an amateur, you make mistakes. But then somebody's going to learn the lesson.
I was outside having a smoke with them all. We're just all talking and getting along. And then we come back in here and they've got the music on vibe and it was really nice.
That is true how it feels. I will tell you, as somebody who's been in a room with a lot of people having, it feels very casual. I can't tell you how many times I've been sitting and talking to somebody about an anime while somebody in front of me is having sex. It does feel exactly this normal. It feels very normal, which is also part of the fantasy breaking part of it, because you're not moving on the fantasy. You're just being like normal and you're just having kind of normal. It's different vibes. Some vibes are like, don't talk, take off your clothes, shut the fuck up. But it's like, this is the fantasy. And then other parties I've been to, it's more like, hey, you want to get some popcorn while we watch? So yeah, and then you're just talking about life. It's nice either way. I mean, both are great for different vibes.
How do you think Lily found it?
I think, do you know, I've not had the chance to speak to her too much. She's been in there all day, and we've just like chucked her in the shower and like, she's exhausted. She's like, the first thing she said was like, I need a Nando's. I was like,
You've earned a Nando's.
Yeah, the Nando's is ordered. She's took it like a champ. She's done so well. Every time I've said, are you okay? Do you need a breather? She's like, no, bring the next guy in.
Seeing 100 guys come to have sex with Lily in one day, was that like something that obviously...
That part didn't feel too intense. It was more checking in on Lily felt intense.
Yeah.
Hello, hi.
How are you? Lily offered to show me the aftermath of their stunt.
Oh, it stinks.
What does it smell like?
Like brace yourself. Brace yourself.
Oh, holy
shit. I guess it...
I can't with noises. He did not have any control over that. That was a natural reaction. That would have made me, I'm a sympathy, I get sick if other people are getting sick. Sorry guys. Okay, ready? I'm gonna press play.
Is that real?
Yeah, he's not good with smells.
Lily then walked us through the process that she had repeated 100 times that day.
Come on in, make yourself at home, take your shoes off. I've got some hangers here if you want to put your coat up.
Nice.
Come on in, where you travel from today? Oh, lovely. Yeah, oh, it's so nice to meet you. I'll get you on the bed, make yourself comfortable, take off your trousers, and we're going to have a fun time. And I'll give them the phone camera. I'll just say, I'm guessing you don't want your face in it.
Yeah.
And if they don't, it'll be POV phone camera.
Yeah.
I'll start usually with a and then I'd say, like, is there anything you like, don't like, any certain position you want to do?
Yeah.
And then, we kind of got straight into it.
Did you do the with a condom on or?
No, I didn't. Condom off.
What?
And then I'd say, like, is there anything you like, don't like, any certain position you want to do?
Yeah.
And then, we kind of got straight into it.
Did you do the with a condom on or?
No, I didn't. Condom off.
Okay, but then like once they're having sex and it's like...
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, girly. I'm sorry. 100 oral situations with no condom. 100 strange. I am not upset she did the action. I'm upset there wasn't more safety protocol. I just want to make this abundantly clear because listen to me when I say this. People can keep themselves from shame, and I don't want to add to Lily's shame because there's no shame here. I'm not ashamed of you. I'm not cursing you. I'm not condemning you. I'm saying I want you to suck 100. Just do it safely, girl. And it's the lack of safety that kills me, okay? That's what kills me. It's just that. I promise you, it's not the amount of, because that's what people want to curse her for. That's what people are going to want to drive her crazy for. Is, oh, you're gross. You took 100. That's not the gross part. Girl, it's the safety part. That's the part. That's the only part I have a problem with. I do not want to add to the voices of people that are trying to attack this woman for simply having sex. I just want to be abundantly clear if you're new to my audience. The safety part of it is what I'm always going to be the most concerned about. As an older sister, as a friend, like I want you to have the best, safest you can have. Okay. And also you get ready, guys. I have podcasts on neurodivergency and looking back at my life and the way that I've had my whole life. Why did structured, negotiated work out better for me and my autistic brain? And why, when I met a non-autistic or neurodivergent person or anyone outside of that realm, did they think it was weird that I expected testing and negotiation?
Yeah, condom on type thing. Yeah.
It does smell a lot like sex. I mean, and there's Rose. That's nice. Did one of the girls? And how are you feeling?
Surprisingly, downstairs is not really sore.
Okay.
It's more just tired. My eyes sting like nothing else.
Why?
Because of all the it. I think I repeatedly said, you can't have face, but not in my eye.
And they just went right at the eye.
Well,
I hate them.
I think like it might have been an accident.
I hate those guys. But maybe it was an accident that they got it in her eyes, but that sucks.
But no, I mean, I've definitely seen some spunk today, Jesus. And it just took definitely a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I think it was when it was only like 40 and I was like, I'm not even halfway yet.
Yeah.
And 40 is still a lot of people. Like, imagine 40 people and be like, I'm not even halfway, like, done.
When was the last time you ate?
I think I had a yam yam. Yam yam, is that what they're called? A little pastry. And I think I had a sandwich, and that was and then the rest come. It's not for the weak, girls, if I'm honest. It was hard. I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Why not?
I think if you're a different type of girl, it's very like, It's kind of like being a in a sense of like, it's just a different feeling. I don't know how to explain it. Like,
it's not like just having sex with someone.
Yeah. Just one in, one out. Like, it feels intense.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
I want to say something, and this is for the very well-read girlies, okay? This is for the really well-read girlies. One of the greatest things about BDSM are doing a very focused interaction with someone, tantra, any of those things, is so afterwards you do cry from the intensity of the experience, not because you're sad. Crying after sex can be because of the most intense, intimate, processing parts of your body. Like, I just had such great time crying. And the difference here is she crying from sadness or the intensity of it. That's why we do aftercare after BDSM. That's why we give aftercare, because it's really intense. What we're doing to our bodies, what we're doing to ourselves is really intense. That's why we hug people. It's why we have food ready. It's why we have water ready. It's why we have tea ready. It's why we comfort each other. In my BDSM dungeons, we had aftercare rooms. That the only thing that happened in those rooms were aftercare. And if your partner was unable to give you aftercare, we had people on standby to give aftercare, you know, to calm you down, to bring you back down to earth. When you have a really good meditation session, you might need aftercare. When you exercise, you know, the aftercare is just for a very intense sensation that makes you have a drop. And when you're dropping, it's nice to have the aftercare. So I don't know if she's also experiencing like dropping. I think her real opinion, what she really thinks about the experience, will only be clear in about 6 months to a year. Maybe even after, but not right after everything, not like right after the high. Like, this is a physiological experience. Like, you're riding your high of your chemicals and then you're crashing. Like, I don't want to judge her for this exact scene. I think if this could have been, I would have been on board with all of this if it was more safety. If it was just more safe, I would have 100% been on board for this. That's the only thing I actually have a problem with, was like the lack of safety. And of course, I probably would have like prepared her more, like with education books or something, to be like, hey, read this book. It might help you like process emotionally what you're going through. It's not bad that she's having an intense reaction. It's why she's having it. That's the point.
Yeah. Just one in, one out. Like, it feels intense.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
Sorry. Okay. Just take
1 minute. I think I was you know, when I talked to you last, like, I was not nervous. It was like the day before, I was like, oh, I'm so nervous. But it was good. It was more, I guess, the interactions when like I'd have to stop them early and like, you'd have to stand on business and be like, I'm so sorry, you got to go. And like the awkward interaction of like you feeling pressure to have to meet them if like you haven't spent enough time with them and feeling like you didn't give them a good time because like they only got 2 minutes.
And that's what's making you feel emotional, is that maybe you think you didn't give some guys a good enough time today?
Yeah, and it's hard, I think, having the interactions with them when they're like, what, you're not going to make me finish? I've come all this way. Like,
did they do that? Were some of them mean to her? Oh, I'm going to beat them up. Were they mean to her? Oh, that's not allowed.
They're like guilt tripping me a little bit. I felt bad. Like, some people just travel so far. Like, I didn't want to give them time and like come away from this and be like, oh, that was. I think sometimes like feeling so like robotic. Like by the 30th, you know, like when we're getting on a bit, I've got like a routine of like how we're going to do this. And like, it just, sometimes you'd like disassociate and be like, you know, like it's not like normal things at all. In my head right now, I can think of like 5, 6 guys, 10 guys I remember, and that's it. But it's just, I don't know, it's just weird, isn't it? Like, if I didn't have the videos, I wouldn't have known I've done 100, you know?
Yeah, so okay. I hope she really, God, I want to give her time to meditate and really think about this. I don't think she should hate herself. I don't think she should think she's gross. I don't think she should anything technically immoral, but the safety aspect of it for me would be like, I would call that immoral, but like unethical. But she doesn't know it. Like, none of these guys are her. It feels like a bunch of ignorant, naive people trying to do something, and none of them knew what they were doing. It just feels so messy. And that's the issue. You know what I mean? Like, I feel bad for everybody involved because I'm like, man, this could have been so different, but it's what they could produce. So in the future, you can do this safely. You can do the same thing. You just don't need to do it this way. And also, if Lily sees this, you're nothing wrong with you. You just need a little bit more help in making sure when you do this in the future, it's a little bit better. But like, you know, I don't want anyone to feel like they have the right to demonize this girl for trying something new or trying something specific. You know, I don't think she should do the 1,000 people though. I don't think anyone should do that. But you know, we only have one life and then we die. I guess it's better that than bombing kids in Palestine. I don't know. You know, it's not funny.
But yeah, I think that was kind of the hard part, is like conversing with them, and like when they'd kind of be like, oh, like we've only had 2 minutes or 3 minutes and you said 5 on the message.
Did someone say that to you?
Yeah. And obviously it just makes it feel so bad.
Do you think you should feel bad about that?
I guess when you've promised something to people who support you, it's kind of hard to let them down.
But it's up to you, right? Like when you know.
Yeah.
Have you even processed, do you think, what's happened?
No, she's not. Of course not. What are you talking about?
Not yet. God, I won't forget this day, Jesus.
When I decided to start making this documentary, I wasn't too sure of what to expect. I certainly didn't expect to see Lily so upset at the end of it all.
Okay, I'm glad she's having like aftercare and some hugs. Like hug her, comfort her, let her feel okay to cry. There's nothing wrong with crying. Crying isn't the issue. It is very normal to cry after an intense orgasm, after sex, after intimacy, after a lot of things. It's okay to cry after a big snowboarding event, a wrestling match. Like crying is not the problem. I cry when I'm happy all of the time. Okay, I love, like, crying is not the problem. I think the issue is that we always see crying as like, see, she regrets it. I don't know what she thinks yet, but I think she can, both of these things can be true at the same time. She could be crying cathartically and regret it, or have a good time, or any of these things. I just want us to make sure that crying doesn't necessarily something bad is happening.
I thought perhaps in years to come she may look back at this day in sadness, but not so instantly afterwards. She had stressed to me throughout my time with her how excited she was for this.
No, okay, chatter, I'm gonna block you if you're negative. Her crying is a natural response, like that. What she did was instinctually dehumanizing. Maybe she subconsciously, emotionally rejects what she's done. It is not dehumanizing. You're deciding it's dehumanizing. There's nothing wrong with having lots of. That's what we have to remember. No part of this documentary is dehumanizing. It's just uneducated. It's naive. It's not thoughtful, but it's not dehumanizing, guys. Like dehumanizing is a very specific word. Dehumanizing is not what's happening here. Like having is not dehumanizing. I don't think even the men who felt like really shaken up about it, it's not because they dehumanized themselves. It's because they walked into something they didn't understand. You could have the same reaction from going to the gym and not understanding why your body is shaking or crying, right? So dehumanizing is a very specific word. There's no reason to insinuate anyone did anything dehumanizing in the situation. We have no evidence for that. You know, we only have evidence for the fact that it was done unsafely. But that's it. That's not, like, I would argue that's not dehumanizing, right? Dehumanizing adds to the stigma of the sexual activity.
Challenge, and how this was her fantasy. So to see her so visibly upset at the end of it all was really sad.
Yeah, he's painting the narrative that she's really upset about it. Was it transactional? That would make her body a product? That's negativity, bro. You're being sex negative. Don't tell me you're not being negative in my chat when that's literally what sex negative is. Deconstruct that idea, okay? It's not dehumanizing to go to work. It is not dehumanizing to do a job well. It is not dehumanizing to get paid. Was it transactional? That would make her body a product, okay? And it's called doing a job, just like all of us go to work and do our job using our bodies, okay? I will block you, bro. I will block you. Okay, I don't want to add to this like stigma against her for this reason. He is doing that with this narrative right now. But I would still say she needed to do it safely. She needed to do this safely. Not that she didn't need to do this at all.
But my confusion was only added to in the days following our filming with Lily, as she announced to her fans that in February of 2025, she would be sleeping with 1,000 men in a single day to break the world record.
Last week I did 101 guys. Now this was just the warm-up, because in February I'm going to be the first person ever to reach 4 digits of guys all in one day. Yes, 1,000 guys.
Maybe what we witnessed that night was just someone overwhelmed with emotion after completing such a monumental challenge.
I don't know if she's really upset that the guys didn't have a good time, but she's upset that the guys made her feel upset, which is valid. Because those guys for thinking they were going to have a perfect situation occur during a production. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the part that's funny. Is like, she said it verbally. Like, if I asked her to get deeper about it, I don't think she's upset the guys were not happy. I think she's upset the guys made her feel bad for not being happy with a product that was never going to be fully, like the guys tried to make her feel bad. So she internalized it as, I feel bad I didn't give them what they wanted. Those guys, they got exactly what they wanted. They to you. That's what they wanted. Them complaining about not getting their full 5 minutes. You're still a girl. She gets to consent. That's the problem. That's the problem with that narrative. But I understand why she's digesting it that way, because that's what the men are trying to convince her of. Okay? She shouldn't do 1,000 people. I hope it's just a way to get famous. It's silly. Don't do that.
Or maybe we saw the true toll this career.
I think the world record was broken with a little less than 1,000 people, but I don't know. I don't know anything about that story. Who shared it? Was it my Discord? Somebody was sharing that story. Like the record was something 990 something. I'm gonna stop it there because the music. Actually, hold on. Let's just mute the music. Q. We love her. Okay, Q. Okay, we love her. We love her. Fashion. Okay, love that. Okay, hold on. Chat says, but this is tricky for me because she based her performance based on a men's pleasure satisfaction, which is why I originally thought it was dehumanizing. Okay, fine. We'll talk it out. Okay, fine. Good clarification, chat. I agree with you that it's not positive unless you've deconstructed. It's not liberation unless you've deconstructed the patriarchy and centering around men's pleasure. I think the dilemma is that when you're a capitalist, you're centering your validation on your customer's report. And if the men made her feel bad for not producing the product, then she might feel bad as a producer of said product, right? Because all of us feel that way. I mean, I feel that way as a content creator. I want to produce great content. And if I got 99%, if I got bad feedback from people, I might feel bad, like I'm not producing proper content. But then you have to realize like one upset customer is a success. 2 upset customers is a success. Like at the end of the day, you're not going to please all your customers. So I would say that it's dehumanizing in a capitalistic way more than a way. Ultimately, until she deconstructs why she's even interested in this capacity, it's going to be dehumanizing on a spectrum, but not because it's work. So I agree with you there that it's dehumanizing to seek out external validation from people for the wrong reasons. So if she's seeking out external validation from men to seek out her worth, it's dehumanizing. If she's seeking out external validation from her customer base to be better at her business, it's business. If she internalizes one bad review into everything she is, you need to go to therapy. Okay, chat says I conflated the capitalistic side with the side. You're right, they're separate. They're separate, though I see your point that they can overlap, so I could see that too. Thank you for engaging in conversation with me so we could talk it out. Yeah, I think my concern is like these things are so separate for me. I would like to know who she is as a person, the way she can accomplish these goals without in any way dehumanizing herself, while also being good at her job, which is at the end of the day, pleasing said customer as well, which is hard. Like it's so hard because if you're more of a creative, it's really hard to win at the capitalist game because you want to create from within. That goes back to the video we watched earlier about the romantics era. Like we want to create within and give, but also when you're running a business, it's not about you. It's about the customer. And it's about those two things. I really hope she milks this into $2 million, $3 million. I hope she does well, you know? And so for me, I think I wish Lily the best. I hope she gets educated on safety measures, but the world is very uneducated when it comes to safe sex. It's just very uneducated. And then we take risks all the same, right? Like a lot of us take risks all the same with people we love or people we think we're going to be married to or people we think we're going to know for a long time. We like trust those people and then we, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, safe sex is very possible. There's a way to do safe sex in a sexy way. It's just a few extra steps. And I think a lot of people don't want to take those extra steps, which is why, you know, STIs aren't exactly uncommon. But as people progress, I think safety will be hopefully more associated with the industry. That's what I hope. Like I tell everyone, like my siblings or anyone who comes to me for advice, I don't care that you're having sex. I just want you to be safe.
In my head, in real life I'm in bed, my belly's being fed and I'm okay. I'm just fine, yet all I do is whine. Not to you in my mind, cause I know I don't make sense. I've been nothing but blessed, so why's my life a mess? Please tell me, cause I'm sick of thinking. Yeah, I'm sick of reaching out for the truth and living life as a fool. Dun,